Welcome in everyone to the VESL Valorant High School Qualifiers final day of the group stages. I'm Vaudable. We got Time to Light here in the booth yet again, and it's coming down to the wire for the teams that are remaining in play. Only 2 out of the 3 for each of these groups make it onto the bracket stage that starts tomorrow.
Yeah, last day of groups for us, and the first day of groups for some of these teams joining us on stream, and obviously a couple teams joining us for the second day of their own groups, some of them only playing on one day, some of them splitting between 2 days. It's a lot of group stage action all across the board, and like you said, before playoffs start off tomorrow.
It's going to be a good time seeing exactly how far these teams make it in total to make it to the actual LAN events that'll be happening in January and February. They have to play 4 matches, probably win all of those, I'd assume. If you win one, at least you'll likely make it into the bracket stage. There's no buys. Even if you get the higher seed, you just maybe kind of get a better bracket to go through into those regionals that'll be happening in January. So it's going to be a good time. And the 2 teams we have here today at time is Palisades High and Providence High, and they're playing on Bind.
Yeah, Bind, a nice first map to start things off. I always like to see a nice Bind. I don't like to see it too often. We've seen it once this week already. I'm happy with a nice second time. Ascent is the map I don't want to see today.
You cursed us. It's going to be Bind every single map today.
Honestly, I'll take Bind every single map over Ascent every single map. We've seen Ascent twice on back-to-back days, and every other map has been played a single time. Bind is the only other map that has now been repeated between our 2 days, which is pretty good, all things considered. I think we've played.
It'll be a good time. We got some flyovers there for a second just to show you a little bit of the style points that we can add to our broadcast as we level things up throughout the week. But shout out to the production crew in the background here at VESL, making everything easy on us. But we also, as you mentioned, only have 3 matches today instead of the 4 that we have had each day before then. So hopefully for the players, not going to be too late of a night. But again, my biggest hope is that everyone can play with their full roster, no subs, no 4 or 3 player teams. They can still compete if they have to do that, but from what we've seen so far, hasn't really worked out for those teams that have had to do that just yet.
All I'm saying is I have to change my name. It's a rebrand time. Time to riot, because I want to see 4
time
games.
To riot.
I want to see 4 games. More high school Valorant action, please. Especially because these
all
games
of it.
have, like, unironically been good. Sometimes I say, oh yeah, that was a good game, and it wasn't really a good game. A lot of these games.
The last one tonight was really good.
Yeah, yesterday we had a couple of good games. On Monday, if there weren't 4 players on some of those rosters, you would have had a good game. And I say that as soon as we go into a game with 4 players on a roster.
No, I cursed it. How dare I?
You said it, I didn't. Instead of having 4 games, we'll have 4
existence. Yes, that's what we're getting here as a consolation prize. But hopefully Providence A are bringing their A game too. Because again, we haven't had a scenario where a team of 4 players is much better mechanically and skill-wise and coordination than the other team. I would love to see that though. A 4-player team take down the competition, showcase their skill, and be able to get the victory there. And who knows? Maybe they'll be able to, maybe not. I mean, they have 2 players with just 3 letters in their name. Maybe that means that they're that good at the game.
That's got to be the case. You find original names. I mean, you have ZZZ. We're back with them. Wait. Okay, this is a real, like, 6 degrees of separation. I casted a Counter-Strike event this morning, like 9 a.m. It was an event that happened in Dubai. A player's name was ZZZ. I have the VOD.
Whoa.
I have proof. This is scary. I was saying, oh, we're seeing them
trying to
again.
Get you to go to sleep.
No, it was like, oh, we're seeing them again. I realized, no, I'm seeing them again.
Your agent.
I thought I recognized the name from yesterday. It took me a second.
It's the first Viper that we have seen since the first match 2 days ago on Monday when we started off our stream for the qualifiers for VESL Valorant. And I'm curious to see how they perform. I mean, I talked about it, the one that we did see, they didn't really use their utility too well. They didn't use their ultimate, as much as they could. And really, we need to see that utility from these players as best they can, especially when it's a 4-on-5 situation. You said, not Breach, it was Brimstone you were saying would be a good one to be used on every map if you're a newer player. But Breach we've seen be picked pretty decently throughout the matches this week.
Yeah, Brimstone's at least viable everywhere. Maybe not the #1 choice, but if you're new to the game, sometimes agent selection really doesn't mean much. It's more agent comfortability. and that can be the difference maker in a lot of these matches. We have seen some 3 duelist rosters end up working because they're just objectively better at the game, and sometimes that's all it takes at some levels of play. Providence starting the defensive side, right? We're not going to beat around the bush here. They do have a technical advantage. However, if you're starting with 4 players, the attacking side is the side to start on. So, Hama, if things are going to go well for Palisades, it has to be in this first half.
That is a good question if Palisades can do it in this first half. I mean, we talked about that in the last, 3 matches that we had with only 4 players on one team. It was harder to defend because they didn't have one extra player to get some more information on, and already we're talking about that they have to play like they lost the entry frag. We've seen that happen a couple times, but the majority of matches we have witnessed from teams that have had a player down the entire time was that they had one really good player that was just fragging and carrying the team for the most part, but they couldn't rally behind that too long because as soon as they were taken out, that was the entire chances for their team to get anything going. And Cam looking for something here, but already 17 HP, not a great start.
No, they have to disengage, and it seems like A is going to be the call. You can see on the map the line on the right side of your screen. That restricts the A side, but I don't know if they have the same vision they're looking for. Brimstone, their vision seems to be, but Mailbox will just disengage. I like this call. What you do is you disengage and wait for your team to come support. As soon as they get here, you can then stay alive and fight for another play. However, that spike going down makes things a little bit easier for Palisades, especially with that man disadvantage going on.
Palisades looking for anything they can on this entry. The angles into the smoke, rotating around to maybe a better position just to check if a flank's coming out for Lego Legend. I like that look because you never know, but more shots coming through, and there go down 2 of the Providence players. 3-on-2 situation. The shots missed though by ZZZ. Somehow not able to get that kill.
Yeet Enjoyer finds 2 at the end of the day, but this flank working through for Hanny. If they can find even 1 here, it's a great scenario. They'll find 1 second through the wall. 2 headshots, 2 kills, and an opening round for Palisades. Reminder, they've only got 4 players on that roster. This attack, all that important.
Huge win for them, especially because they were able to have, well, I guess we're having a timeout. Maybe seeing if they can get that player in, maybe seeing if there's a tech issue with some connections. Either way, good win by the Palisades side to start off strong there. We'll figure out exactly what the details are going on in the background for that timeout, but I don't think it's like a necessary timeout because you don't really want to use your timeouts that early if you really needed to. But nonetheless, hopefully it's to get that 1 player in because that would be great so that Palisades, who got that first win, can keep that momentum going and have that last player join the lobby.
Yeah, the opening round, they played it well. They intentionally went for the spike plant around their utility instead of trying to go for that kill. They saw Mailbox and were like, yeah, he can go hide in showers. We're not going to deal with that for the time being. It was a real task-oriented play. They found opening kill onto B. They took damage and disengaged. They realized it was not their calling card. Instead, went over to A. They worked. They got the spike down. They got a couple kills. It was a little close for comfort. The Yeet Enjoyer finding a couple frags. Now, I asked you a couple days ago, do you know who NBA Youngboy is? Do you know who Yeet is? Not
no.
Not the verb.
I do not.
Okay. Yeah. Yeet is basically if NBA Youngboy was watered down a little bit. So.
I see.
Yeah. Okay.
Another rapper to look up after this. I might be showing my age a little bit, but also YEAT. Okay, cool. So they are an enjoyer of Yeet specifically, and then we had NBA Youngboy in one of the matches that highlight was played, and then that team also had 4 players, and they did not win.
You know, this is kind of scary. I don't know.
Full rotate from the back. Somehow, knew it was coming and got a trade though. Shout out to Hani on that one. Popped off in the last game, got the 3 kills for their team, but I don't know how much that's going to help them too much. They got onto the site. They need to get the spike down, but they are taking their sweet time doing that.
The spike just rotated all the way around elbow to CT for no reason. Took forever to do so, and it's a 4v1. Questionable decision there.
That shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, at least you're supposed to get a spike down there. If you're Palisades, bare minimum needs to be the spike plant. The fact that you unnecessarily rotate elbow to CT, back onto the site, and then plant open when you don't have hookah control is a question mark for me. A miscommunication had to be. They must have heard something or thought they heard something and were like, hey, we need to clear this before we try and plant.
Or thought that like it wasn't the entire team that was flanking around. But again, you said miscommunication because Hani saw the entire team right then and there and could have communicated that. But nonetheless, I mean, good that they were able to get a trade. But we see a similar story to before, right? Hani trying to carry the team. As soon as they're taken down, the whole team loses their head. So maybe Hani is the IGL for their squad, and That's a difficult situation to be in too when you don't have that coordination for your roster once that happens. But either way, trying to get back onto the site for the A site this time. Have the smoke up, have an angle, but don't really have much momentum so far. Honey looking for something, got the stun, but does not get the finish, missing all of their pistol shots.
It's a 1-for-1 trade overall, though. No, I say that as Yeet ends up finding the refrag onto Cam, and that's more than good enough. And at this point, Palisades, what's the call for them? Aggression back towards Showers, but they A, don't have weapons, and B, don't have all that much help. Low HP for ZZZ. Granted, it is full for their Viper, but good paranoia. That catches one, I think. Now, Yeet does not force off the angle, finds one. Will use the Devour. Almost finds the second. No, ZZ wins that second fight.
Nice win by ZZ, but they are stunned. If it would have been smart for someone to go and take them from this front, but they saw the flank coming out instead, so the defenders will win 2 in a row for Providence after that timeout.
Now, the name Sanji Vin Smoke, I feel like there's a reference there, so I'm totally just going to Google Sanji Vin. Yeah, Sanji Vin Smoke. Fictional character from One Piece. I knew there was something that had to do with it. I have no idea. I don't watch One Piece, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, Sanji is the cook. There you go. I got you.
Make a joke. Insert joke here about him cooking.
Oh, gosh. Trying to cook up the competition and deliver it on a silver platter for a good half is what you can say there. But Cam looking for anything. They got a decent trade before after their teammate was taken down. Speaking specifically about Honey, but the smoke comes out. Still plenty of room to work with, though, after the smoke was placed. So don't really have any information about their opponents, but now with the shots coming through, they were kind of given a lot of information on where exactly they were. So the rotation should come out from the side of Providence.
Oh, and it's already here. That's the problem. You have one player walking through B mid already. They're going to walk straight into him and
Ouch.
jump smoke, or jump scare. Not jump smoke. That's Sanji Vin Smoke. I apologize. It's still a skeleton. It's going to still end up being around. Lego Legend is, I don't know, anviled down with bricks landing on them. I don't have another joke for that. It's game 1. I'm already out of jokes.
It's all good. I mean, now we have Lego and Valorant like we did in Fortnite, so you don't have to have it be in every single game. But either way, the mail has been delivered, and that has been 3 rounds for Providence A. H-Dog, the only player in the lobby so far without a kill, but again, the rest of their team is picking up the slack where they need to, and H-Dog using that utility with the turrets and everything else for them to lock down some different areas. Panda's baby, doing what they can to try and seek out any of the opponents, but didn't really get any bites on that flash, so know that they're at least not in that area. H-Dog, talked about them not getting a kill yet. Like a Legend trying to take them down. Pistol shots with the Sheriff, but still no collateral going to be in sight.
No, they're hoping for it. The wall forward, this is fairly quick. The issue is, if they go for the same strat we saw from them in the pistol round, there's a lot of utility waiting for them. Look on the map. You see the little alarm bot. You can see the nanoswarm going off next to them. They have to push lamps here. There's still a killjoy waiting. The spray misses, though. This is a decent start for Palisades, but they, again, have to worry about a flank. 2 players just took the Showers teleporter, and 1's going towards mid.
Plant going down. Oh no, I was going to say that it was going to be successful, but again, the plants have not been working out well at all for Palisades. Now that's 4 rounds in a row for Providence A. And that's the biggest issue, at least eco-wise, for this Palisades side, is that they haven't been able to get a single spike plant down. I mean, it worked out well enough for the save in that round before. They can get at least all the rifles, all the armor that they need, but looking at those creds going forward, very dire straits, especially for Hani, the star of the show for Palisades.
Bar that pistol, it's been fairly clean for Providence. No real mistakes, no real issues they've had. Just the pistol round where they took a little bit too long to set up that retake and had the issue with the flank. Seekers used. Hani seeing that most of the people are over towards this B side. It's a little bit of a misnomer. Flash around, good one, does damage, but again, does not find the kill. They want to try and set up that second setup, and ends up working. ZZZ wins a fight of their own. Everybody's stepping up on the B site.
4v2 situation now. This is a complete change around for Palisades. Looking much more confident and actually able to get the spike down in a decent position this time around. So now all eyes are on Providence. And I talked about that one player, H-Dog, on Providence that hasn't been able to get a kill just yet. I'm curious on how effective they'll be with the Brimstone from Mailbox, who's gotten just 2 of their own. But some decent positioning from Palisades. They should be able to just hold on to the site for the remainder of the bomb plant. Excuse me, spike plant.
Smoke goes down. They're going to retake it. Now's a pretty good time. Mailbox will swing. They'll find a kill. I do not think the Killjoy lives here. They'll be very lucky if they do. But I don't even know if they go for this on the Providence side. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't. Mailbox finds a second kill. It makes it somewhat reasonable, but yeah, not only was time against them, so were the shots from Lego Legend. And the round back for Palisades. Important one. Just seemed like Providence tunnel vision towards the long position, and as soon as Hookah was overwhelmed, so too was the B site.
And Cam able to pick up one of the rifles of their opponent, so they don't have to worry about anything later on. Now in the buy stage, curious what Hani will do, but they did get the spike down. I was talking about how their eco is in dire straits, and now it's in a decent, a little bit bad position. I mean, looking at ZZZ and Cam, you still got to save up here. But on the other end of things, even with that 1 round down, making it 4-2, I don't think Providence A have to worry too much. They were taken off guard. They weren't expecting that kind of a strategy from Palisades A. Now we'll see if it works again. Hani just getting more vision for themselves. Knows exactly where they are now and see if they push on it. But 3 kills in a row for Providence A. Shuts down Palisades completely. It's inevitable. 1 shot comes out. There goes this 2-piece. Can they get 3? Coming from the other angle. No, they cannot, but valiant effort nonetheless.
Okay, honestly, those first 2 kills were gross enough. I don't know if I would have been able to sustain a 1v5 ace clutch there from Hani. Anyway, nice couple shots. I wouldn't have even won the first fight against Sanjeev and Smoke as they blast pack across my screen. I probably would have been shot in midair knowing my luck, but it's a nice couple shots. Unfortunately, impactless frags, they don't end up winning you the round, but they do some economic damage. Now is the time for Palisades to win a couple rounds in a row. The issue is, again, 4v5, and they don't have all that much of an economy of their own. 2 rifles, 2 sheriffs, and that seems to be about it.
They got time. I mean, there's still plenty of rounds remaining for the half. There's only been 7 going by, so about halfway there for the most part. And from what we've seen, Palisades have it in them to be able to win this 4v5 against the other team. But as more rounds stack up against them, so do the chances to come back. I mean, we've seen it from all the other 4v5 teams. But can Palisades be the outlier in that sense, taking on the odds and winning them? Whereas the rest of the squads we've seen so far have not been so successful. Sanji, though, maybe saw like a corner of the foot of ZZZ and got the shot.
Yeet with another on to Lego Legend. And again, it's a couple kills and the round seems to be over. Normal conversations, we'd say, oh, it's a 3v5, they have an opportunity, but you blink and you miss it, the round's gone. Quick swing from Sanji, and a flawless round for Providence A. Locking in on the defensive side of Bind. Only a couple mistakes, and just like that, Palisades, well, you guessed it, they're in a bind.
Not a good bind to be in either. On the map, in the situation they are currently down by 4 rounds, but also on the attacking side, which is the best that you can hope for to have when you have 4 players. Just imagining how it's going to change when they switch on to the defending side, and Palisades, I mean, they'll have to hold on as best they can, but Providence, when you're going against a player down, you really just have to hold W from what we've seen from other teams. Whole B-side push. Okay.
And it is a full rush. Pandas has to get the heck out of dodge. And here comes the kitchen sink from the attacking side. They do hold off. Good Trailblazer lands, but so too, again, does a good fault line. And the Rolling Thunder. They will send it through and still stunned. He still wins a fight and can dismiss away.
And 2 fights in a row. Can they get a third? Looking for it as the spike was planted. No, they do get stunned and they can't do anything there. Unfortunate, but still, ZZZ cleaning things up. Panda's baby doing the work to finish off the round, and now just having some fun, giving some of the ultimate points to their other player, and eventually going to be able to get that defuse. It was close, but still pretty comfortable for the most part for Providence.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot you can do in that scenario as well if you're in that 1v3 on ZZZ's side. The fact that you even win the first fight is good. They won a second fight before it. That's not even here nor there. The fact is you're being reswung from both directions and you're stuck in one position. You either tuck and try and take a 1v1 or you get aggressive and take the other 1v1. Either way, you have to unintentionally swing the other direction. It's not safe. It's just not going to go your way most of the time. In Providence, they don't make any mistakes there. It was a little close for comfort, but again, it's a round they win, and a win's a win regardless.
That it is. Round they win. Win is a win, and that's what Providence are hoping for throughout the remaining rounds of this game. We're almost at the halfway point being done, but I feel like with the way the pace has been set, we're already past the halfway point of this matchup between these 2 teams. just by Providence A being able to dissect and decimate all of the hopes of Palisades A. Can't even get the ult orb in time as one player goes down, but they do get a trade. Oh, never mind. They don't at all. They try to get the shots on and completely miss them. And instead, it'll just be 2 players remaining for Palisades. Oh, they can't even see them. There we go.
What? Hani finds
2 piece from Hani.
How in the world does that happen? How does a Trailblazer not see Hani stuck in the corner? And look, their proximity to the teleporter. They're about to take it. They do. Both of them sending themselves over towards the A side. Here's a quick rotate from H-Dog. But Mailbox still here. Operator in hand. The Trailblazer will not see them, and it's a false sense of security.
Oh, no, they get it. Okay.
Lego Legend is very much dead. Spike down, position noted, and this guy, I think, only has 1 flash left. There's a good flash. They'll still die to H-Dog. That is a glaring error turned very victorious round for Providence.
Had the sniper, didn't have to worry too much after that, and had the shot too. On our end, it looked like they might have missed it, but no, they did not. Was able to connect and take down Lego Legend to Peg and make it so they have to reassemble their offense, going on the attacking side yet again for Palisades. Still only 2 rounds. The maximum we have seen for a 4-player squad has been 5. We'll see if that can be eclipsed at all, but time is ticking down, and so are the rounds available to do it.
This is starting to become the beginning of the end.
Yep.
The last stage of the half could be a misnomer. We could see Palisades go back-to-back and maybe start off with a pistol round victory on the defensive side. But I said, and I will say multiple times over, if you have a player disadvantage, it is the attacking side in which you want to have that player disadvantage. It is better to lose the opening pick on the attack than it is on the defense. It is better to be in a 4v5 on the attack than it is on the defense. It doesn't force your ranks as thin. It looks like that return frag already looking good here. A reswing there from the Killjoy. This breaks through the wall. Lego Legend makes it 2.
Lego Legend carrying the team on their back as best they can. Great wall, great grenade. Does get flashed, but they're great backup as well so that they aren't pressured too much. Cam with a finish onto Sanji. They know that there's at least a Sky around the corner. Getting the plant off as best they can. Hani doing just that. A great look so far in this round. We were talking about they need to pull off a comeback of epic proportions, but Mailbox, we saw how they were able to clutch things up before. Here comes the pit. It's going to be difficult for the other side to deal with it. They didn't even need it because the kills come out from Hani.
Hani finding multiple frags in back-to-back rounds, and here finding 2 to close. 12-9 for them. And I said the last couple rounds of half, you're looking pretty good. These are your opportunities to start to set some momentum and some confidence. We're not seeing, again, too many mistakes from Palisades. Obviously, losing a couple gunfights, something you can't ignore. But they're gunfights. It's not like they're making glaring clerical errors in their strat book. They're looking good from the start of the round until they just start to get swarmed. And they're mainly getting swarmed because A, it's a player advantage, and B, Yeet Enjoyer 4192 exists.
Yeah, once they took down Yeet Enjoyer, it was a lot easier for Palisades to sail into the site, get the plant down, and make sure that they could secure the victory at the end of it. So we've mentioned it so many times. There's always like a star duelist on these squads in this high school level of competition. If you can take them out, it's going to make your job that much easier, and that's what we witnessed in that last round. Kind of know exactly where they are there. Wow. Lego Legend, who took them down before, sniped and easily shot down.
They know ZZZ's sitting elbow, and they're 100% sure of it now. There was a paranoia earlier, but a good bait. It's ZZZ catching off. Cam crouches, would have hit the shot if they didn't. Now ZZZ 1v4, yeah, it's just not gonna happen. Your position duly noted. If that wasn't going to kill you, the orbital strike from above certainly would have. And it's a 9-3 half. Is it going to be the curse, though?
Probably not. We'll see, though. I mean, things can change. Maybe defending side is better for Palisades, and they feel more confident there. Really comes down to winning this pistol round and taking that momentum forward. It's not as big of an issue if Providence do lose the pistol round, but, you know, this team wants to clear things out. This is the first match on this B stream, too. And they just would need to win one more match to 100% guarantee their spot into that bracket stage tomorrow. And again, these are all qualifiers this week, so it's not even the big stage, not even the money until those actual regional lands that'll be happening in January. So that's what all these teams are competing to make it to that stage and go from then on out, earn some prizing and some pride, see what they can do, if they can take down the other team. Prejudice here.
W key from Providence in just about every round would be mathematically more likely for them to win it. And You can see exactly why already winning 2 separate gunfights. The walk behind for Yeet Enjoyer. Lego Legends has their headphones on the wrong way, and it's just a clean 2-piece. I think that round lasted all of 25 seconds, and it's 10-3.
Pretty much, and a flawless to boot. Took a little bit of time since the last flawless. It was about the 8th round, but not much to really say for the rounds after that, except the one that was a successful round for Palisades A. But success can only carry you so far when you are down a player. We've seen it every time. It's been evidence, and now it's basically fact at this point from what we have seen this week. 4 matches so far with players or with teams missing a single player. It's just so hard to overcome the numbers odds. You have to be the best in the game, the best in the high school stratosphere for the VESL Valorant qualifiers here, and we haven't seen that from any team yet.
Again, a W key. This time on towards B, and a leer out means near sight for anybody who has it in their line of sight. And you can't even swing through that smoke, because if you do, you're immediately blinded today. Walking through tube, goodbye Lego Legend, lesser weaponry ends up being your downfall. It's already a spike plant, a 5v3.
Wow. So quickly dissecting the hopes and dreams of Palisades. Connie is able to get one, but Cam and ZZZ taken out by Sanji, cooking up a masterclass recipe for these final rounds. Only 2 more remain for Providence to clear out the series.
In that round, similar to the first of this half, it is really not much that Palisades can do. Just theory crafting for a second. You have 2 separate options if you're Palisades. Number 1, you do as most teams would do in 4v5 scenarios, where you'd split the site 2 and 2. You'd expect minimum 2 kills per round from anybody on your team, or at least 1 kill per round from those 2 who hold the site. Then they die, then you have a 2v3 retake. Or the other option, you stack 1 site. You hope you guess right. If you don't, and or the other team guesses that you have a stack, they go the other direction, and you then have to retake with either a player disadvantage or, if you're lucky, a player equalization. There is no good answer for Palisades. No beating around the bush. They're playing well, their shots are good, and Honey is insane at the game. But the fact of the matter is they're playing a 5v4 against players that have been playing the game for more than 10 minutes. It's just not when they're going to win. However, they do win some of these gunfights. That's what happens for Honey there.
Yeah, they're taking their time. They're not being baited out by the other side. Using the fault line here too. But again, not really too much to worry about, especially when Sanji's popping off. A 3-piece just cleanly, 1 more player remaining. Seeing if they could go for anything to breach the last player for that squad. Cam, we've seen them not be able to clutch too much, but be able to get a kill here and there, and they need to get 4 of those at that. Maybe opting for the save or just seeing if anyone it's in front of their sight lines. They have the sniper. They get 1. Can they get 2? No, they cannot just yet. Both players missing somehow. Eventually, Panda's baby will get that one. Or Panda's daddy, excuse me. Or Dabby. There we go.
I knew you were going to say it. I intentionally said Pandas the entire game because I saw it in Agent Select. I knew that was going to confuse one of us.
It got me. I kept saying baby the whole time.
No, that's what we call, at least that's what I call it in golf, ugly but effective. You end up winning the round, but it didn't look pretty.
Yeah.
I am looking at Providence and saying that is about as clean in the first 40 seconds of the round as it can be. I'm saying Palisades, if you're looking at a 9-round deficit. It has been Providence W keying every round except for now when they're talking in all chat, and it's going to be a W key again. Here's the pseudo stack. 3 of 4 players sitting on the B side, and one of them's already done.
1 down, 3 remain. That's all they will write about the Palisades side. Stunned, flashed, and shaken, but not stirred yet. Sanji taking that one too. Cam even on the flank couldn't do anything. Lego Legend got 1 though, so that's something to work with. Won't be a flawless to end the day at least, but Lego Legend looking for 1 more. Doesn't have the angle either. The knife comes out instead. Insult to injury. ZZZ, the last player remaining and taking down a peg. It will be Providence A with a 13-3 victory. It's got to be unfortunate, but we called this. Every time we've seen a team be down a player, there's not really too much you can do.
Yeah, and that's a game where even with the individual mechanical skill that we saw for some of those players, there's still not a whole lot that's theoretically viable for them, theoretically or physically. It's just not going to happen most of the day. You feel bad. It's one of those you'd love to see something different. You'd love to see the hero story, but the fact of the matter is, if you have 1 player stepping up, it's just not going to happen. If you have a significant skill gap and the skill gap favors the team with 4, maybe that changes, but it just didn't here. And it's unfortunate, but it's one of those things where if they had 5 members,
yeah,
maybe that's a different conversation, but they didn't, so it wasn't.
Yep, that's the way the cookie crumbles for teams that are down a player. You got to do
Go
what
up
you
with all
can. They
five.
were able to get 3 rounds. It wasn't so far. We haven't had a sweep for teams that have been down a player. So hey, that's something to write home about. But again, it's not enough to get you into the bracket stage. Maybe they'll be able to get a player in for their last match of their group. But we do have to change groups here. It's going to be North Henderson High versus Green Hope High B after this break. Welcome back, everyone. After a bit of a lengthy break, we did have a situation where one of the teams forfeited their match, so we tried to find one, and we did steal it from the multi-stream. Thank you to the multi-stream. So instead, we have Monroe High versus Green Hope A. It's going to be an interesting matchup, because guess what, TTL? What is the map that we have here to enjoy?
Don't remind me. It's Ascent. I said it's the only map I didn't want to see today before at least the bracket stage.
We're guaranteed to have it twice each day, so that means the last one's going to be Ascent too. I'm calling it now.
Oh, that's
it's the quota.
Some housekeeping things. If you want to go to youtube.com/VESLGG, I believe is our specific link, you can head over there and you can see 3 separate streams live. We have our primary stream where we're running a TriCast right now. The secondary stream, which you can see us if you're coming from Twitch, or if you're already on Twitch, just click the little profile picture. I think it's down there. And we have a quadcast that is 4 separate observers, all observing different games, all making sure they can all be streamed, while we don't have as many off-stream games as could be the case with only a primary and secondary stream. So shout out to the production team, shout out to the multiple observers we have all running the quadcast. Again, it is intentionally observer only. You will not hear casters. That is intentional. We promise. And we, of course, thank you for watching all these games.
Thank you. And yeah, we're going to Ascent again. This is hopefully, hopefully, this will be the first time that we see all 4 teams on it. Because last time we also were saying, oh yeah, it's going to be that. And then we didn't see them, right? We saw like a 4v5 like every time almost that we've been on Ascent.
Yeah. We saw what? I think it's a 4v5 all but one time, if I'm correct.
That was right. The last time we were able to see a full match. And that was the Stomp. That's what it was.
And yeah, the last time it was a 13-7. Oh no, you're right. It was the Stomp. The one where they were,
It was like 13-1, I think it was. Yeah.
Oh, you guys aren't even going to get as many as the team that had
3 even.
Yeah, that. We have only had one 13-0 on either the main or B stream. I have not followed every individual game on the quadcast, nor some of the individual games elsewhere. We do have some of the individual games written down otherwise, so I'm going to go looking over there in just a little bit. But I do have to say, a lot of these games have been either A, close, or B, 5v4s, and so by proxy, not so close, but could have been if it was a 5v5. I don't know. I'm hoping it gets better.
Fingers crossed. That's all you can hope for. I mean, either way, we had an okay match before to start off the day. It was a 5v4, but they were able to get a couple rounds. They looked pretty decent. It wasn't just one player carrying the entire time, so that way we were able to see exactly how well they were likely to perform if it was a full roster. I think it still would have been a loss from what we saw, but they would have been able to do a little bit better on the defensive side then, and just based on the gunplay. A couple of shots missed here and there. I mean, my question to you here, TTL, is, well, as we go into this, how have you felt about the level of high school competition to what you're used to seeing? And Monroe have a Lego kit of their own. What?
Oh, no. We have another Lego kid?
What was it, Lego Legend
Lego
before?
Legend earlier, yeah.
And now we have Lego Kid.
I gotta say, this is much closer than some of the other high school action that I've been accustomed to in the past, and I'm extremely happy about it. By no means, don't get me wrong. However, I've also seen way too many 5v4s. Granted, that's been the case for a couple other high school leagues, but I really want to see closer games, and I haven't seen that today as much, minus, let's see, what, game 1 of Monday, and maybe game 4
the last
yesterday?
Series of yesterday. Yeah, that was like my favorite one, I'd have to say. Even though it was one team dominating the second half, it was just so close leading up to that. But now we have the agents selected. How are we feeling about these so far?
Looking at the agents, this is as stock standard as an agent select gets for the attacking side of Green Hope A. That is as on par with what you'd expect as things get at. On the other side, Monroe decided to throw the book out the window. I don't know who gave them the textbook. They were writing in a different language, or they just didn't read it whatsoever. Raze instead of Jet, Breach instead of KO, it seems. You're running Sky instead of Sova. You're still running Double Initiator. You are still running your Killjoy, but your controller is Harbor. I'm going to get the stats on this in a second, because I haven't had that window open today, and I'm going to just really... Yeah,
one of the rounds.
No, it was Haven.
That's right. It was Haven. That's right.
I don't know. Okay, Ascent. Some agent selection statistics. As soon as my browser loads, I love when it freezes.
Always a good time.
Well, for the time being, the agent selection statistics, the entirety of Green Hope A is as on par as it gets. The lowest agent selection rate on their team is the KO at 71%. but
It's pretty high.
yeah, it's not looking great for Monroe. I'll get into the nitty gritty when they stop shooting each other.
Yeah, turret down. Saw the fault line come out. First blood for XJR HC. I'm just gonna say XJR to make it easy. Lego Kid fallen. And that time we do see Cray taking down the already Monroe. One player left with less than half HP. I always go out to say it's bound for them to go down, but they at least took one for the road. 3 players up remaining for Green Hope A. The attackers looking pretty confident with that initiation onto the A site.
I'm also a little concerned. Oh, I think I'm a little louder. Hold up. Let me turn myself down.
Yeah, I have finally found the reason that I've been quiet for so many years on this computer. Yeah. So one of the reasons that round's so difficult for Monroe is just a relentless onslaught of utility from Green Hope A. And more importantly, it's Monroe just not having the manpower they needed for it. Everybody gets swarmed, and as soon as the door's closed, all of your immediate help is removed as well. A lot of problems, not a whole lot of solutions at the end of the day. They do kind of stack this. They have some utility, they have a turret in Tetris corner. They only have 2 players on the site, though, and both of them kind of isolated from one another.
Couple good shots here and there. Piggy Lover looking for another finish. They get it onto Kev. 4-on-3 situation, but Piggy Lover just popping off for their team as best they could. Killer Cook down, Cray down again, and Green Hope A quickly able to take advantage of the situation.
Yeah, the 3v0, the double blast pack attempt by Cray there. I'm gonna say extraordinary, to say the very least, but valiant effort, I suppose. And it's Monroe. That's a round where you're not supposed to win, and they don't, unsurprisingly. But Green Hope A was a little bit more taxing than they would have liked. They have to dedicate, again, a lot of utility. Again, will have to be reinvested here into the 3rd round. And this is the bonus round. If Monroe is going to win a round, now's the time to do it. But I gotta say, Green Hope A is going to have a shot. You have 2 rifles, one of them being a Bulldog. You have the Sheriff and a Marshal, with I believe a Spectre as well. They do have an arguable shot at picking this up, but they do not have the advantage.
Not the advantage that they would like to see, but we'll have to see Kev getting the first blood this time onto the main duelist for the other side, but it does get traded really quickly for top. Looking pretty good so far there for the Sova on a Green Hope. They've been popping off a couple times here and there between these first few rounds, but it's only 2 rounds into potentially a longer fight between these 2 squads as this match goes on. Not getting the spike down just yet, but finding a better position for it so that they can defend it regardless of where the retake comes from.
Oh, great flash. And it's turned away. Lemon lines them up. Oh my goodness, the assist from behind. You can see the 2 assists just on the left side of the Omen insignia. Finds 2 on the help there, and Piggy Lover again stepping up, not only for kills, but in the assist department as well.
That seems to be the duo for this side, Lemon and Piggy Lover. What a name that is. I mean, it's like you could make your own ham situation going on there based on that team player combination. Nonetheless, though, Green Hope versus Monroe. All 3 first rounds in the favor of Green Hope. Monroe, they haven't had any hope to their name, and that's what we've seen so far.
Oh, and it's a W key onto B. They've pushed A 3 rounds in a row, and as soon as they condition the Monroe defense, they just send it over towards the A side. Flash doesn't even pop before Cray is dusted down. And it's a couple mid-trades, but nothing to write home about. This is another round that just looks like it's going to go Green Hope's way. They'll even clear corners. It is a W key fiesta for the Green Hope attack.
Just sitting at the door, even though it got closed in front of their face. Piggy Lover is not feeling any fear whatsoever, and for good reason. Takes down Lego Kid, 1 player remaining. They're trying to retreat as far as they can. They get 1 at least, but they turn their back and get shot, but miss somehow. The Piggy Lover gonna see if they can bait them out with a knife. No, they can't. A little bit overzealous that time, but they will be taken down eventually in stride. 4-0 in the first few rounds. This is quite a monumental start for Green Hope.
It just seems like it's them holding W and having full advantages. They're not making many mistakes. The only mistakes they have been making are losing some gunfights in through mid, where you aren't expecting reswings upon reswings upon reswings. The one problem I'm seeing from Monroe is not having the player advantages to play around just, again, pure and unadulterated aggression from Green Hope A. It is a W key after a W key. I swear, they're playing on modular keyboards and they just removed most of the keys.
No keys needed other than that whatsoever. Either way, though, 4-0, good start for Green Hope. likely to continue to, especially with XJR waiting to get some vision, using their ultimate to, I was going to say the good ability, but Cray shuts it down completely. There goes Lemon too, two of the best players on Green Hope A. Unfortunately, Cray not going to last too much longer. Did stop the advancement for a second, but still 3v2 situation. All players on Green Hope very effective in their dueling, and that's what we've seen so far here as they win yet another round, even with the stars of the show out of commission.
And it's another situation of them, again, I'm going to say this as many times as I can without it sounding repetitive. That's the word. Wow, that's the word, unnecessarily difficult to say. Repetitive. It is just Monroe not having the manpower. And you saw it again there. Yes, the trades were there early in the round, but it does seem like a round to go Green Hope A's way unless Monroe sees individual heroics. This may be one of our first times on Ascent in a full 5v5 where it's not going to be an arguably close game. Honestly, some of the games yesterday were still 5v4s and it was not arguably close. That was a terrible flash. I think Piggy Liver was one table too far.
Just a bit. I mean, working on those lineups as best you can. It's better to get them out of the way at the start and have them mess up, but either way, we do see the Cell Vault coming through, seeing if they can get anything with it, but
they do.
No dice really there. Do see a shot come through and Lemon taken down so early.
Lemon falls, but the Hunter Sphere was intended to take out the lockdown, so all that risk of being detained is completely removed. There is a flank coming through, keep an eye on that Breach, who has made a decent bit of noise. The Sova needs to turn their attention, and they will, dusting down Kev, and that may very well be the round. 1v3 in the span of 3.5 seconds. Piggy will flash up. It does not land on the Cray, but the shots very much will. 6-0 now, Green Hope. And a valiant effort from Monroe, but the counter immediately there with the Hunter's Fury.
This is domination and confidence of a kind that I have not seen in a while here, TTL. I mean, we saw the second half of the last series yesterday and how confident that team was, but Green Hope, I mean, they have taken all of the wind out of the sails of Monroe, made it so difficult for them to do anything.
You know, our stream is on a 5-minute delay, and occasionally I like to look back at the stream to see previous compositions or previous buys just to see what happened a little while ago. Usually we have like a 1.5-minute delay, sometimes 2 minutes in Valorant, but 5 minutes just to keep our competitive integrity and, you know, in case anything breaks, we have some time to fix it. We have finished 4 rounds in 5 minutes. That's how scary this game is.
That's a record.
Yeah, it was 6 yesterday in the 5v3 I think we had. So that's how scary some of these games can be and how quickly they can go when the team on the attacking side has as clear and obvious of an advantage as we're seeing here. XJR, a little over-aggressive, does get caught out, but it's already plant down and already a 4v2. Rolling Thunder, there's the counter though, and they're going.
Like it wasn't enough though. Piggy Lover, they do take him down for a second, but he takes one for the road. They actually traded out completely in the 2v3, I think it was at the end there. Still worked out in the favor of Green Hope. Every time we see a chance for Monroe to try and take down Green Hope's chances here and there, it just has not worked out in their favor. They either overcommit a bit too much. We saw that happen a couple times here, especially when Piggy Lover was in a good spot. Even when they were stunned and couldn't really do too much, they were able to recover and get a kill, at least a trade, so that they could secure that round.
It's like, here's a carpet. Here's your hopes of winning the round, and then you just yoink it out from under them. Feels bad, man. Null Command already popped from the shadows as well. This is going to go into Boathouse. It is being watched right now. Lemon, if you swing this, you have to be cognizant, and they will, just narrowly ending up finding that kill. Could have been much worse, but already it seems like the round in their favor. There's not a whole lot you can do. And Pickle Lover, that's not Pickle Lover, it's Piggy Lover.
That'd be a great name.
Pickle Lover. No, I saw that 2 days ago. That's why I thought it was the name. Anyway, they're just getting aggressive. Holding W because they can. It's working.
Flawless.
8-0.
This is very likely to be our first full sweep of the day, of the B stream at least, based on the momentum that's been activated by Green Hope A. I mean, there's still been a decent amount of kills for Monroe. They've gotten over 16 so far, but it just hasn't proven to be enough for them to get a victory off of that. They've gotten some here and there, but the clutch factor has been there from Green Hope. Everyone has been able to pop off. But Piggy Lover, looking at them, 14 kills already into these first 8 rounds, and leading the charge for their team, but it's not just them doing all the work.
It's a real yin and yang scenario as well. Our A stream's a little bit further ahead than us. They're cleaning up game number 2 as we started a little while ago. They're currently 10-10 in that game. It's Argery Kel B versus West Charlotte. And it's the Cascade used fairly early in this round, but immediately the Harbor's taken care of. And you use your ultimate for the first time in the game, you've just built it up, and it has 5 seconds of efficacy and does nothing. Even getting caught with a paranoia is like, okay, this round, again, just a wash. And it's Everybody W keying from Green Hope and nobody making mistakes while doing so.
That was so fast. You couldn't even finish your point before the round was over.
I know. We completed 5 full rounds in 5 minutes, by the way.
Yep. That we did. And now we are almost done with the half. 3 rounds to go. We'll see how quickly they hold the W key this time. And that just goes to show the confidence of Green Hope. After they got a download of the situation for Monroe and how they are performing, they were able to turn things up a notch to 11 and go full send, and it's been working out for them. And you don't always get to do that, but it's fun when you are that confident, that much better than your opponents, and you can just go and try and frag out as best you can. That's what we've been witnessing so far.
Spook finds an opener. They're immediately dispatched of, though, and this re-aggression I don't think is going to work. Good dark cover in through the door. Doesn't give any freedom
there we
to move.
go.
However, Lego Kid plays on the backside of it. Finds a kill.
43.
Tries to use Trailblazer, but it gets shut off by the door, I think.
Plant comes through. There comes the shots, though, from Lemon. Lemon's definitely a threat comparatively to some of the other players, but they're taken out by Cray. A double from Cray. It's huge. 3v1. This is the best situation that they have, and there we go. They are able to get the round. Plenty of time for the defuse. Finally, we do see them take one to their names, but I don't know if that's enough to slow the roll of Green Hope. More just make them realize that they can't always hold W key.
Finally, a round back, and it's an important one. It's the later stages of the half. And switching on to the attacking side, you have more of a reasonable advantage when you are playing with, we'll say, less than ideal scenarios on Monroe's side. But that singular round isn't just going to be a statistical outlier. Green Hope, not really going to let any mistakes in that round, to be completely honest with you. That's the best part of it for Monroe. They're not like, oh, yeah, they just gave it to us. They made X, Y, and Z and did it all wrong. It's a proper round, but it's only one.
Yeah, it is only one round, and that might be the only one that they get, depending on how things go here. Green Hope seeing if they can fully push onto the A site yet again, get things going down, locked and loaded, making it difficult for the other team to really do anything. 2 kills already, though, for the defensive side. XJR changes the fate of their team just a little bit as they are moving to get that plant with the spike onto A. 1 shot down. There goes the second. XJRC looking for the finish, has 3 to their name. Can they get the 4th? But they are able to disengage well enough and does get the 4th. Looking for the ace potentially. Will they get it?
4th already. And the breach is fairly close. Window was already broken, so it won't be any further sound cues. And how does that kill XJR? Somehow, they will have that torn away from them. The swing through, it will be a true 2v1, but Mr. Scrigglebottom, yes, that's their actual name, will also end up dying to their own utility, and a combination of tops as well, but it's a round for Green Hope A. Regardless, double digits in the first half alone.
1 player with 16, 1 with 14, 1 with 10 in this first half is just insane to me, too, with the way that these players are performing on Green Hope A. 1 round lost. Likely to be the only one for this half as things have been progressing in their favor, and they haven't even had to worry about economy whatsoever. They still have so much left in the bank for this final round. There's really not much to work with for the other end. I mean, 1 player not with any shields, 1 with just barely a little bit of it, and not the greatest look to start out this potential B push, but XJRHC, looking to actually be successful with their ultimate this time. Gets 1 down, but does get stunned instead. Top has a finish and 2 to their name already. Looking pretty good so far for this initiation by Green Hope.
XJR fighting their demons. There is no one in the boathouse, and it took them about 15-20 seconds to figure that one out. But as soon as they do, they are back to holding W in the correct direction this time around. Everybody's blind. It's a game of staring contest with the sun, and it seems like Green Hope is winning them. XJR is low, so it is a little dangerous for them, as Spook's on a 4K, on for the ace as well. It could be a 4K for XJR, but how quickly does that swing come through? They just saw the Killjoy switch their purview. Is the flank going to come through? That's the other question. They do not have time to escape safely, and they won't.
Spook's
it will be the ace for Spook, but will Monroe have the time to defuse? Yes. Very much so.
Oh my goodness. They were able to clutch up in an insane way, and I think a lot of that had to do with how much time it took XJR to just clear the site and actually get involved in the action. They weren't able to really do anything for the most part. The rest of the team was taken down, just dissected by Spooks that entire time, and a great second round to close out the half that time for Monroe.
2 of 3 after losing 9 straight.
Ouch.
If you discount the first 9 rounds of the game, it's 2-1.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the positive way to look at
Easy.
things right now. especially as Monroe switched on the attacking side. Spook has looked really good, proponent of winning both of those rounds. We do have to see more out of not only Killer Cookie, whether it is in terms of utility or kills. You can go 0-12 and still do still have proper utility usage and be an impactful part of your team. But I also want to see Kev get included a little bit more. On the Breach, you have the utility. You really don't have the correct agent select into this round, but I mean, hey, couple kills go the other way, and it's a completely different game. Hey, look at that! Just like that, I say it, and they use a fault line. They stun, free kill, Lemon's dead.
Looking pretty confident here in the second half, too. Getting onto site, they were able to initiate with Spooks, rally behind them. Some of the abilities being used against Spooks, but doesn't really matter too much. Suppress, slowed, not stunned or anything, but their teammate trying to do the best they can, and Piggy Lover getting a 3-piece of their own. The rest cleaned up by Green Hope A, and back to business as usual. 2 rounds away for the finish for Green Hope A, and that's what they're hoping for as well.
That wall, it's got to be better for Killer. The problem you put up there is as soon as you put that wall on the backside of Heaven, you give them free space to rotate around it while still playing behind it and having that safety of just vision obfuscation. And that's not something you can solve immediately. That wall either has to be against the CT cross as they're trying to get out from Heaven, or against the entire balcony so they don't have a place to swing across from it. And there's really no easy way to do that. No scope finds one. Looking for a second. We even see a headshot from Lemon off screen. And XJR finds 2 separate no scopes. Those would never hit if I did it, but it's XJR, so because why not? And it's a full house of frags with marshals. Most of them probably no scopes.
What an odd flawless, but it works in their favor. They're feeling confident, especially after shutting down the potential of a comeback for Monroe in that last round to start off the half. Green Hope A, I talked about business as usual, but this is unusual with the weapons that they were using in that last round. Potentially the final round of this second series of the day, just as quick as the last one, even quicker, right, technically, with the speed that they took those first 9 rounds.
12-2, and they are choosing the correct site on the Monroe side, but as soon as that sound cue comes through, look at the flank coming through from the A side already. They are W keying through A because they can. Utility found, and they discover that B is more than susceptible. They will escape and make it onto the site safely, but Mr. Swigglebottom, they'll go 1 for 1. That's good enough. That delays more than enough on the defense.
Solid trade. Kev looking for the angle to see if anyone's going to come through. Silva has some shots and does get 1 onto Spooks. Pretty consistent with those as well, and another follow through afterwards, but Lego Kid bounces back themselves. 2v2 situation. Silva down a bit. Now 2-on-1. Monroe is taking down a peg. Now just comes out the defuse, and that is going to be the game in the favor of Green Hope A, the quickest we have seen a series done today on the B stream.
Yeah, that one's a quick one. Green Hope A just looked objectively better. They, after that game, are one of my favorites to take the event. Albeit, it is a very long event. This is really just qualifiers to a qualifier to a LAN. But I am really excited to see them down the line. And this is my favorite part about covering so much of a group stage, is seeing so many different teams. We've been keeping an eye on the A stream, how close some of those games have been. I was talking about the 11-10 game earlier. That game ended up finishing 13-10 in favor of West Charlotte. Ardrey killed B. Ended up just narrowly losing 3 in a row to close that game out. It seems like it is a defender-sided map, at least it was in those last few rounds. It's just, this game, not close. It is a very
quick and easy for certain teams from what we have seen on this final day of the group stages. I mean, last series, it was Palisade that was able to do it. Or not Palisade, excuse me, Providence. And this time, it was Green Hope able to activate as best they could, make it even faster, 13-2 instead of 13-3 that we saw in the last series. So even Monroe couldn't get more rounds than we saw the team that had 4 players. So again, got to pat the 4-player teams on their backs as best they can to do what we've witnessed so far. But that's all the time we have for now. We're going to be coming back with our final series of the day after the break, and that's Garinger High versus West Charlotte High. Welcome back, everyone. We have a very interesting matchup ahead of us, just while we get the other one situated. It is going to be a 1v1 between Risks and Plazy. So that's going to be an interesting matchup between these two VESL veterans.
Yeah, Risk, the esports director around here, and Plazy, one of our observers for the event. So we're getting a look into the background of some of our staff here at VESL. This is going to be fun. Me is Plazy, so we will have POV for Plazy. I do not believe we will have POV for Risk. So either Risk misses all their shots and we have no idea, or Plazy hits all their shots and we can commend them out the wazoo, and it's very much worth it. This is deathmatch. I don't know how interesting it'll be a deathmatch considering it's a massive map and they're gonna have to play hide and seek, but it should be fun.
Also, ignore the left and right. Risk up the first kill, though. So shout out to Risk. Ignore the back and forth, though. We're currently looking at the POV of Plazy. Talk about there the observer, and they need to observe that they were the one who were taken down first.
Do I see a... I don't see a crosshair. Unless... I'm going to ask our producer to correct me if I'm wrong here. I do not see a crosshair, which is maybe why he's missing all these shots. Come on, Plazy. That's how you do it. There we go.
I mean, I'm going to laugh if Plazy plays without a crosshair and still is able to get kills of that sort, but either way, one apiece between these two.
Well,
to see what
technically,
Risk can do.
Risks was in the warm-up. That's what makes things shameful.
Oh, no.
Yep.
It was in the warm-up, wasn't even an actual thing. Ooh. But there we go. Tying things up there a little bit between those two.
Oh wait, we have the other POV.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, so we have both PCs on the network. We're observing them both. We can see the other one. I'm a fan of this, and oh, I'm a fan of Plazy's hitting his shots. Jeez.
Plazy looking good. So Risk had the first kill, and then Plazy had the last two, is what we've been witnessing here. We're on Plazy POV. So when it's on the right, that's Plazy. On the left, it's Risk. Right now,
what?
Plazy missing a couple times, and a dome from Risk to get that one to tie it up.
Plazy from distance. If you hit a sheriff shot from any further than I think like 25 meters, it only does 145 damage. It just happened again.
Oh no!
He did 145.
Well, Risk that time, the one who's taken down. Between these two players, one kill advantage for Plazy. Shot missed by both of them, but Plazy will eventually be able to clean that one up. Pretty confident victory on this so far. Still 7 minutes remaining. Plenty of time for Risk to come back, but gotta be careful about these angles.
I don't know. This is looking concerning for Risk. He's trying the knife. Close range. No, they're running out of ammo. One bullet left. Off.
They stay alive that long, though.
Wow. Plazy. Lucky dog.
Great work from Plazy so far, but you'd kind of expect an observer to be the one to win. I mean, they've been looking at a lot of Valorant, but as I say that, taken down by Risk that time. Bring it back within 2 in this 1v1 situation between Risk and Plazy. I'll try to see exactly where they are. I like how they're fighting in the center. They get a lot easier for each other that they don't have to go to different areas too much, but now they're just playing hide and seek this time.
Like a game of King of the Hill. Oh,
what a shot by Risk.
Risk, a nice little casual one tap with their sheriff. And it seems like Plazy's losing his lead. It's starting to become concerning. He loses another.
Lead completely gone, tied with a 2-kill, I think 3-kill actually, back-to-back for Risk. Take down Plazy a peg. Even the playing field can hear them to their right. At least I hope so. No, they can't. Domed instead. And it will be Plazy getting one back up over top of Risk.
That lead, still only one though. And that's where things currently lie. Again, a reminder, Plazy, our observer on this stream for the event. Another headshot from Risk from distance. This one followed up on by the body shots. We're tied once more. And Risk, our esports director here at VESL, making sure that we can bring you all the events and all the action, whether it's on stream or off.
Hear them from the right. See if Risk can figure that out. They're going for the knife of their own, I guess, but didn't even need it. Shots missed, and then a single tap from Plazy to put that through. Going for the dagger. No, just the shot instead. Insult to injury.
Honestly, the fact that Plazy gets out of that alive is a miracle beyond words. And the fact you find 2 there is ever so casual. I gotta say, I'm really disappointed. These players haven't found any double kills. It's really just been a single kill. They're not stringing kills back to back. And by that I mean, when you look at the kill feed, like at the bottom, it says single kill, and then they run out of time for it to build up to a double kill, like right now. Mostly a joke because there's only one player. But,
That is pretty funny. Still a chance, though, for Risk to come back. We're at the halfway point of this 1v1. Hear them from the left. Got the shot. Missed both of them, actually. And the third. Well, they missed the fourth. Going for the reload this time. Missed the fourth, fifth, and then finally hits the sixth.
You can see shooting error on the right side. It seems like Risk is really looking for that quality over quantity.
Indeed.
Making sure they don't have to worry about all that.
Left side again. Oh, right to the head that time. Still the lead for Plazy, taking their time. Not really having to sweat too much. So many shots being missed, and somehow Risk is going to take advantage of that.
And we're tied.
Teabag.
Hey, it's making sure the crouch key works. That's what it really is.
Exactly. We said we were tied, but not for long at all. 10-9 this time for Plazy. Every time we see Risk come back, it's just a simple one tap or two. Plazy's able to just clean things up. This is his usual. Risk with the shot, too, from behind. Could have finished them off without them even noticing, but again, tied here. Likely to see Plazy get another one for their name. No footsteps approaching, though.
I'm going to say we're like a fair amount into this. We've been told that they're using Vandals at the 2-minute mark, so now's the time to start building up a consistent lead, because once it gets to rifles, it's really anybody's game. And Plazy, that lead starting to build back up, at least finds one, but headshot and body shot through the wall. Risk tying it up once more. Only 3 minutes left.
Pretty competitive between these two. Didn't quite expect it to be this solid. I thought Risk was going to take the lead from the start and just keep it that way, but if you're missing shots like that, then I can see why Plazy's doing pretty good for themselves.
We have 1 minute left of the Sheriffs until we turn to rifles and things really start to crank up. And still that 1 kill lead. Oh, make it 2.
Get 2.
There's Plazy stepping up. Observer diff.
Standing still makes it easier to hit your shots, is what we've learned here today, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, but it also makes you a bigger target as Risk takes them down a peg again, but still down by 1 kill before 30 seconds remain till we switch to the Vandals. The last little bit of this deathmatch. Shot coming out. Just needs to one shot here for Risk. Can they get it? Misses the first, misses the second, and standing still. Somehow both of them missing completely. Having to reload their chambers. 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shot, blue shot. Somehow 1 hits.
Red shot, blue shot, 1 shot, 2 shot, and it's back to the 2 kill lead. About 1 more kill till we switch to Vandals, and it will be the advantage to the person who died in the Vandal fight, because they will switch to a Vandal first. You cannot buy after the first second of being alive after you've respawned. And it's just a W key straight into, you can see immediate Vandal buy.
And this is where the boys become men in this 1v1 situation. So we see it looking for all angles and wins, crouching for the accuracy. And this is where I think Plazy's going to just dominate Risk. Risk had the best chance they did to take down Plazy earlier on, but positioning, peeking around the corners. But as I say that, still keeping it as competitive as can be.
Still fairly close, but it's not over just yet. Plazy with the lead. It's the observer up ahead of our esports director, who will find a third. And that's a 3 kill lead. I don't know if that one's going to be made up in the next 60 seconds or so.
Good question. Will be found out in those next 60 seconds if that lead can be changed, but taking their time. Wise for the side of Plazy, but taken out completely by Risk. What a play.
There's one. Still 50 seconds. Still a possibility, but odds,
Ooh,
not gonna
wow.
happen. Good night. Jeez, from distance. And there's that 3 kill lead back.
Just the 1 tap from Plazy to take down the chances of Risk potentially coming back here. 3 in a row needed by Risk. And as I say that, a beautiful shot from the side. Didn't even see where it was coming from.
30 seconds left.
No idea. Still, it's 30-second game. Will they tie things up? No, it's again just trading, and these trading kills will continually favor Plazy about every day of the week. I don't know if this one's going to end up going Risk's way at the end of the day.
I don't think it will. Not much time remaining, but they do get 1 kill Still a couple more seconds to go. They have to find them in their spawn and quickly take them down from then on out. But if you're Plazy, you don't even need to play the game anymore. You've got the lead, you've got the win, and you just got the time on your side, making it 20 kills to 17. Competitive at best, but hey, a valiant effort from Risk, but Plazy was just that much better.
Now my question is, who's our observer for this one? Because we had the POV of both players. We didn't actually have an observer. So I think it was our producer running in-game directing between two POVs and a 1v1. I gotta say, that was fun.
What a look.
20 and 17 versus 17 and 20. Most surprising direct difference of kill death I've ever seen.
Great looks from both of our observer and our director in Risk. Got to see some great gunplay, some not so great gunplay, and a good time too. But we're headed back to a break then after this. Hopefully, we're getting into our final match of the night, which is Garinger High versus West Charlotte High after this. Welcome back, everyone, to VESL Valorant High School Qualifiers. The final match of the group stages is Garinger High versus West Charlotte High. It's going to be a good time to see exactly how these two teams fare up, and can they get more than 3 rounds for the losing side? That's the question here, TTL.
Well, I think the answer is hopefully. I mean, we're already headed to bind, so maybe that helps us. I don't know if that'll hurt us or not. These groups, obviously, it's the last day of groups, so the final games for some of these teams as well. This is a win or probably go home scenario, depending on some of the other results in the group. Of course, we'll get those in a few minutes when they're updated across, because actually the reason we're a little late is because one of these teams was actually just playing.
Hopefully we get an update on which team it was and if they won their match, because if they didn't win their match after that, well, this is a must-win scenario for that team, because you have to at least win one to make it into the group stage, because you only play 2 matches. So depends on tiebreakers after that, of course, if everyone takes down everyone. But a player's game just crashed as we were talking, so they're restarting it as quickly as we can. So maybe we'll talk a little bit. I just had a Taco Bell order that came in on time. No issues there. Yes. And I got a root beer with it, so shout out.
Yes. Yeah, I was playing Fortnite in our break while we had some time in between games. So, you know, taking full advantage of some other... I'm going to call it technically a first-person shooter now, because there are multiple different weapons in which you can be in first person.
That's true. I mean, you can also... There's Lego Fortnite coming out tomorrow, too, so that's going to be interesting. Rocket Racing after that, and then Fortnite Festival, I think is what they're calling it, which is like basically Guitar Hero, but not Guitar Hero, and less complex using your mouse, using your keyboard. I don't know how it's going to work on controller either, so we'll have to see.
Interesting. Okay. I was not up to date on all the Fortnite information. Are you like casting Fortnite for VESL or something?
I did in the
like
first week for the VESL High School Qualifiers is when I casted Fortnite. And it was a good time. That was where we started. I did it with Zephyr. Shout out to Zephyr on that. And there's a lot of great competition. I can't wait for the regionals. That'll be happening in January for that too. So it's going to be a good time to see all the other titles, because it was Fortnite, then Overwatch, then I think it was Rocket League, then Madden. And then Smash Bros, now Valorant, and then next week I'll be back on for the Call of Duty that'll be happening there too. So that's gonna be a good time. There'll also be giveaways for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 on the mainstream. So make sure you're following VESLGG on Twitch if you want to win a copy. All ages, I think I've heard for that for the giveaway there. So definitely gonna be a lot to look out for that. If you don't have the game yet, I mean, I've been playing the new Zombies mode, which is really fun in Modern Warfare. And it's basically like Warzone. You load into the map. There's like 20-something players in it. It's PvE completely. And like it's kind of like Tarkov, because you have to extract with different items and abilities you can use later on as well. And guns. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, so Risk, who actually was just playing in the 1v1, if everybody saw that, sent a message to our caster group chat earlier on this week, basically saying, hey, we're doing another giveaway. And this is the exact quote, because the follow-up was kind of funny. Quote, we are doing another Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 giveaway, 3 copies, all Vault Edition, during the Qualifiers tournament next week, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Any and all viewers of the stream are eligible. They just need to type some word in the Twitch chat, or in the YouTube chat, and it will be randomly selected. There's also a fun competition for VESL students during the state championships for COD next week. They'll host a winter tournament for regionals for conference with the most viewers on stream. If students type in their school name in the chat, again, Twitch or YouTube, the winning conference can be voted on, and they vote on which game will be played with a $500 prize pool. Naturally, I followed up with, can you make it 4 and swing me one? I don't want to pay $60 for the game.
Shout out to Ignited, who's another production guy out of...
I love that guy.
Yeah, Ignited actually gifted me the game so that I had it, so that I could play Zombies with them. But then we haven't played since then. So Ignited, I'm calling you out. Play some more Modern Warfare with me, please. But it's a lot of fun. It's a great game. I think we'll be using mainly like the CDL rule set for that too. And CDL, I think, came back, or is coming back actually this Friday too. So all of the competitive Call of Duty you could ask for in these next few weeks after the Valorant that we have going on this week. Still waiting for this player to restart their game and come back. I mean, there's always some sort of issue. I think there was also a hotfix that went live today too. So maybe that kind of messed with things for some of these players that are just getting back into the game. Valorant moment. I mean, that's like every game though, right? They always have an update when you least want it to happen at night when everyone's playing for no reason.
So my favorite thing is every single year, there's this collegiate organization called the NECC, and they run the grand finals for Rainbow Six Siege the first Tuesday of the month at the end of the
Is that when the
semester.
update is?
The update comes out usually within 12 hours of the game starting. And I told them this for 3 semesters and nothing has changed. They got really lucky this time because the update came out this morning, Wednesday, and they played Grand Finals last night on Tuesday because the update was pushed back a full week and a day.
Steam updates always happen on Tuesdays too, and I was running a tournament series on Tuesdays for a while in Omega Strikers. Shout out to that game, RIP, as they are closing at least updates for that for a while. But that was interesting too, because like the Steam update would always hit every Tuesday night at like 6 p.m. or something. So whenever you have like a broadcast going on, then it just messes up because everyone has to like update, and you hope that people don't have terrible internet.
That happens sometimes. I was fortunate enough to be able to update all my games earlier today because I had not played a couple of them in a couple days, including Fortnite.
Shout out! I heard you got a victory royale, so hey, there we go. W key. And speaking of W keys, I mean, are we expecting this one to be another W key moment? I mean, we've had 2 today. Might as well end off with 3, where it's just one team stomping the other team. Or is this going to be the time we go all the way to OT, since that first time we did at the beginning of our VESL, GH journey?
You know, I wish I had an answer for you, but as of right now, there is not an update on I think it was Garinger Butler game that was played just before this. So that was the reason that we were a little delayed. It was because originally West Charlotte and Butler played, and then it was Garinger and Butler, and now it's Garinger and West Charlotte. So their group is completing in 3 separate and 3 straight games. I wish we had an answer for those other 2 games because I think they were just completed. I'll totally DM/ping risk. Maybe read our producers typing in our chat.
We'll see exactly what's going on with that player who's trying to get back in. Player has 5 minutes to get in, or it's another 4v5. Let's
Not
go,
again.
baby.
2 games of bind and 2 4v5 games of bind today. That I don't like bind that much. It's you know what? This is my take on it. It's not Ascent, and that's what matters.
That is very true. I mean, we've gotten 3 binds and 5 ascents in the past 3 days, so I'm curious what the bracket stage is going to look like for that. So, I mean, it's been interesting to see the way that the competition has been going for so far, but as we wait for that player to get back into the lobby or have it be another 4v5 situation, we'll be taking our, hopefully, last break of the night, and we'll be back with that match in just a bit. Oh, hey, we're back, and we have all players. We threatened them with a break, and they said, okay, finally, we're connecting, and that's exactly what you need to do to make sure that all teams have all players available for them. And we got a Gecko locked in on the other end.
Yeah, a Gecko on bind, not absurd. Gecko and Fade, however, that one is out there. A Sage is something that you can't say you're too surprised by. Well, I don't know. I can't speak for you, but I can't say I'm too surprised by.
I'm so surprised.
Brimstones, it seems like, are going to be mirrored here, but we see another player named Wizard on the controller role. Not the same Wizard as yesterday.
It is different Wizard, yeah.
But
we also have Ryan Gosling, actor and philanthropist on West Charlotte. So shout out to Ryan Gosling.
Check out his Wikipedia page.
Indeed.
Okay,
I feel like it's always easy to say philanthropist for like actors because they make a lot of money. So
they've got to be a philanthropist, right?
You'd hope so.
Yeah. Okay. So some conversations of agent select. The top 4, you're usually running double controller and Raise Sky. Your controllers can be really anybody, depending on how you feel like playing that day. But Omen is uncommon, surprisingly, as is Astra. Harbor's more common than both of them. Nobody ever thought that was going to happen. And it's Viper, Brimstone are the top 2. So that's about what you'd expect here. You can run double Duelist. Surprisingly enough, Reyna is played here more than Jet in T1 and T2 play, which I never thought would ever happen, and I hate it. But Breach is a decent secondary initiator. Your Yoru is picked 10% of the time just because of the teleporter shenanigans you can pull off. All in all, Fade is not the worst pick, but Gecko is the 4th least picked agent in this map. So I'm gonna say surprising for some of these.
Very surprising. I mean, I'm curious to see how Fade, as the initiator, is going to react to the way that these players are going to set themselves up for success in this one. I always like the C's ability, too, because it's like, no, you're not getting away from me.
I always like it's C's and paint shell combination. Maybe that's the reason we're seeing the Fade here. If Garinger are cooking something, you throw a C's, it catches them, it takes some damage away, and then you hit them with paint shells and they basically die immediately. They can't get away. They've already taken damage, and then they have to take more damage. Bang, you're dead.
It's a very scary agent to face off against, just based on the names of the abilities that they have. Nonetheless, though, we'll see how this first round fares for Garinger on the attacking side, West Charlotte on the defending side. Usually it takes, I'd say, 4, maximum 5 rounds to feel the difference in skill level and strategy between the two teams if one player or one squad's going to pop off more than the other. Dead Killer with the Gecko initiating for their team. Just baiting out some shots here and there. Turrets down and seeing what they could go from for that. Onto site, getting the spike plant down already. Wow.
This is amazing from Garinger. Paint shells to elbow to create space there. You have smokes off for both angles, and you have a free spike plant, even an opening kill. This is an amazing start for Garinger. I love this already.
Didn't even need to use the wingman either for the plant, so that's how you know that they're confident. They're wanting to save their abilities as best as they can, see who's going to come out forward for it. There is a trade between both teams. Ryan Gosling taking out Dead Killer. The Gecko is fallen. Pokemon Trainer not going to become a master this time.
No, but are they even going to go for it? That's the problem. Ravens, not to be confused with the NFL team, of which is my favorite fun fact, is going to find the kill into Wizard, and doesn't seem like Harry's going to play any further part in this round. 1v4, unfortunately, for the Brimstone, who will throw out their Molly, and then be thrown down just the same. Lena with a 4-piece, and Garinger with their first.
That was just clean and cool, calm, and collected from Garinger to get that victory, and that's what I like to see. They have the strategy, they had so much room given to them, though, right? There wasn't anyone defending the site. They weren't in a really good position. I did like the back off from West Charlotte after they saw everyone engaging onto A, but after that, there really wasn't much to be said about the play from West Charlotte. It was just the Garinger show.
Will that be the case for the remainder of this game? Is it just a statistical outlier? Are we going to see something similar? Lena is just holding W and has a stim beacon to do so. Prowler out will find the Rays in the close corner. They are nearsighted. They're going to be caught by the C's, and they cannot get away from that one so easily. You shall not pass, says the C's, and the kill shortly after.
That's why I love the C's. I was talking about it going into this. It's like the C's is such a fun ability to watch because everyone that isn't as familiar with it tries to escape it, and there was no way for the Jet, who likes to jet around, to get out of the crosshairs there. So Dead Killer picks up a kill themselves. 5v3 situation now for West Charlotte. Good touch by Arisu to get that one. Good tap, excuse me. And another one onto It is, excuse me. Good shots from Dead Killer, but not enough to take down Jay, who does get finished off by Ravens. 2-on-2 situation, make it 2-on-1. 1-on-1 now. Wizard, gotta see what they could do. Not much health to work with against the Brimstone.
No info as to where the Brimstone is, though. Whole foot seen, though. Shoulder as well. You have to swing that, Rishi. How in the world are you alive? What are you doing? How does he win that? What are you doing sitting in the corner, and how do you win the fight?
I think they were feigning that they were like AFK or something, because I feel I mean, we were saying it. Wizard is like putting those shots on. How is that Brimstone not moving the entire time? 200 IQ play, I guess, for Rishi to take that victory for Garrett. I don't even know how that happened.
There's no way you're supposed to win that. I'm sorry. Just that's concerning. All right, I'm hesitant to say that this could be a throwback to, I think it was the last time that we saw Ascent here today, where it was just a W key fiesta across the board.
Yeah,
first 2 rounds.
That was our last round. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't. These first 2 rounds could just be something that throws us off, and as soon as weapons are picked up by West Charlotte, it's a completely different story. But I really hope that's the case because I'm concerned. Oh, and already most of Hookah controlled. Paint shells as well, and they're gonna die. Okay.
That's gotta hurt.
Oh no.
Ryan Gosling, though, taking down Rishi, getting revenge from that last time, and a good look from Lena. 2-piece to make it 3 total for the round.
And as the round seems to be already over at that, and this was a full buy for West Charlotte, missed opportunity to get out for the Killjoy, swing onto two separate players, Lena just shoulder peeking at that. It's free fights until Arisu has a rifle. There's their first kill with it, but now leaving Jay alone, 1 versus 3. Wingman's gonna go hunting him down. It misses, but it's not gonna matter. Yeah, dead killer. It becomes the killer. That is 3-0 Garinger.
3 players left that time. The least we have seen from Garinger was the one that was remaining in that last round before the one we just witnessed, where somehow Rishi was able to get the finish after getting just picked apart by the shots from Wizard. I'm still flabbergasted that that actually happened, and I hope to scrub that from my memory for West Charlotte if they can get around here in the first couple in the opening half. So far, not so good for them. They don't really have rifles that they're fully equipping just yet, maybe going for even more of an eco round, and it seems like that's going to be the case.
I like this decision where they are going for that half-buy eco kind of thing. They don't have the money and they know it, so they're just not going to overinvest. Wingman will get that spike planted very quickly. Only Wizard on the site, and they are quickly sent down to the Shadow Realm, not by their own wand.
I don't think anyone just wants to go to the Shadow Realm. It doesn't sound like a good place to visit, but that seems to be the case where West Charlotte are being sent there after every single round so far, and they haven't had anything to say about it. But Dead Killer, speaking of dead, that is exactly what they are. Ravens and just a bunch of trades back and forth between both these teams, but 3-on-1 situation. Now 2-on-1. Looking pretty good for Arisu. And they get the finish. No, they cannot. They didn't have the weaponry. They didn't have the shots, and, well, Lena had a better angle on that play.
Yeah, it's 4 now for Garinger, and it really just seems to be Arisu who's able to hit their fights, or hit their shots and win their fights. And it will be another full buy. This is another litmus test for West Charlotte in the earlier stages of this game, much less the first half. But Lena's really stepped up. Ravens has looked clean as ever, and they have nice support. I don't know if Sage's name is itis, like the suffix for inflammation, or it is, because it's all capitalized. And
I feel like it
me off.
is since it's capitalized.
That feels about right.
Who knows, though, with these players? It's hard to know unless they tell us straight out. But we have a 5-minute delay, so maybe the game will be over by then. Who knows? Either way, though, we do have the grenade come through. Lena just pushing on the side, gets one shot and taken out themselves. Speaking of one shot, Arisu taking them down a peg, and Brimstone taking down the other Brimstone to tie things up with the player count remaining on either side.
That's a great time to rotate. Obviously, we can see it. Unfortunately, it does not seem like West Garinger can. Arisu finds their second on the round. They get a third as well. They're stepping up in a big way, and they have some support. And left down just to Ravens. It's a full house once more. This time, it's Swifty with 2 and Arisu with 3 more to add to their total.
That was an odd push from Garinger. They tried to go for something. They didn't have really the vision on the site once they tried to re-engage, and might have been a better option if they had the spike in their hands to go just on a full rotate to the other end, because they found themselves in a bad position. All the utility was against them, and they didn't have anything working for them after that. But again, they already had 4 rounds in their favor. They have plenty of creds to work with, as you can see as evidenced by how much is remaining after a full buy from them. So now that the eco round worked out in the favor for West Charlotte, it's a different game that we're hopefully going to see from them.
1 round picked up, and that full buy ends up going their way. But how much more? That's the question. Ryan Gosling wins the fight. Lena overzealous through the smoke, but a refrag is there. It ends up going 2 for 1 West Charlotte's way, though. And again, early trades going their way in these early stages cannot understate how much that benefits them.
4v3 situation. Garinger now taking their time towards the mid side of this map near A. Nobody that they've able to seen yet. As I say that, though, Ryan Gosling with the angle, it is able to get past for a second, split the difference, and it seems Ryan Gosling had no idea about that. Perfect timing for them, but 1v3 situation. They have the spike. They're going all the way around. They have plenty of time to do just that, but if I was West Charlotte, I would have predicted that from happening, especially if there's only 1 player remaining, but they're actually just holding down the A site. Not really the best decision from them.
I gotta say, I'm okay with this. What you're doing here is you're making sure that there's very little room for freedom for it is. And in this goal, you've actually just taken the teleporter, so you've completely eliminated that B mid presence. If it goes that way, there's a free sound cue, there's the turret, and there's the information. Now everybody's going to turn their attention this direction, and with 12 seconds, it is send it on to B, but the problem is, there's the teleporter. Good late rotation from the Killjoy. I would have been okay if they played it together, but a really good round overall for West Charlotte, an important one to lock in a second in a row.
I think what would have worked better there for the late rotation would have been to speed it up a bit. You know, I feel like they took too much time trying to go towards the B site, and at that point in time, their ruse had already been figured out, especially as you talked about the placement of the turret, giving them that sound cue so that they knew someone was coming down mid, and that's exactly what the trap that Garinger fell into at the end of that round. So, good heads-up plays you were mentioning from West Charlotte. Was hoping for a bit more speed on the push, but when you're in a 1v3 situation, it's hard to really know exactly how fast or slow to go. Now we got to see what Garinger can do. 2 rounds in a row taken by West Charlotte after having that one eco round that they won, really changed the pace of the game.
That and now an opening pick as well. Outstanding couple of rounds, at least a couple of rounds starts here. And Nightfall going to be used, should catch one player. The second one should be able to avoid it. Just narrowly is actually caught by it. The swing, it's still 2 for 1. West Charlotte again win the opening engagements.
And Ravens had been the player who's been getting a lot of good kills and openings for their team, but it just seems like these initiations from them haven't really been the strongest. They've been trying to hard carry their team too much, and the rest of the players on their squad lacking behind and not following up with the pressure that we've been seeing. Luckily, they do have control, or they do have the spike in their clutches. They are rotating all the way back around towards the A side, excuse me. Ryan Gosling pursuing them, gets them with the showstopper. 1 more to go, and they are able to take them down. I said it a bit early, but I knew it was going to happen based on the way we've seen Ryan Gosling with these gunfights.
I gotta say, it's looking like Ryan Gosling does indeed do his own stunts. Nice little showstopper. Nice little round from West Charlotte. I was saying, at least earlier, after round 2, I wonder if this is just going to be a misnomer. Oh, it may just because they have pistols and lesser weaponry later. I was a little concerned, not gonna lie, after rounds 3 and 4, but that concern's mitigated. Arisu has found a little bit more stabilization, has doubled their kills in the last 3 rounds, and has gotten a little bit more help. Swifty and their Rays have both stepped up in a big way.
That they have. Like to see the adjustments after 3 round losses in a row, or 4, excuse me. Looking for their 4th here, but it is entry frag. Taking down Ryan Gosling is pretty big. Wizard down as well. Jay with a good bounce back, taking down Lena, the top fragger of the Garinger squad. Plant is finally coming out the first time in those last 3 rounds that we've seen it happen. That's going to help them moving forward. Arisu and Swiftly looking really solid themselves. Ravens with the Sheriff missing a lot of shots and going to have to back off with only 11 HP to their name. Luckily, they do have the Sage still alive.
And they're tucked in the corner. Their Sage is still there for help, but Ravens could swing this if they have to. There's taking advantage of timing. 1 found.
Oh, no.
Spray for damage, but not the kill. That's more than enough time. Now it is 1 versus 1 will find the kill. Garinger finally stopped the bleeding and will pick up their first round in the last 4.
That was a must-win round for Garinger. Otherwise, West Charlotte were going to continue to run away with that last few rounds of the half. Finally, Garinger stopped the bleeding and were able to staunch things as best they could. Now it just depends on how they change their game plan going into these initial fights onto B or onto A. B site has not worked for them whatsoever. A site seems to be their bread and butter for the most part, but they don't want to make it too obvious where exactly they're going. But every time we do see Lena or Ravens try to initiate, it hasn't quite worked out as much as we'd like, even after we saw that win in the last round.
Swing long. It is found the first or the last kill in the previous round is now the first death in this one. And aggression seems to be the call once more here on towards the B side. Swing. Arisu finds a second. Somebody's got to shut this jet down.
Nobody's been able to so far, really, except at the end of that last round. Now taking their time here. Killjoy just making it so nobody can play the game for a second, and is going to take them down in stride. Dead Killer with a trade, though. With the top 2 players, for the most part on Garinger, are down and out. Got to see what Rishi could do here, and they can't do anything. It's going to be a nice win back for West Charlotte, and a confident one at that, only dropping the Killjoy.
Another round where they come out of the gates swinging, and it just doesn't seem like they stopped. They kept going until the final whistle, or the final kill with the narrator yelling victory. It's Garinger having difficulties in the earlier stages of the round again. If Garinger loses the opening gunfight, and it then spirals from there. West Charlotte have been very good at retaining that player advantage, and it's been extremely good to watch, especially after their early downfalls in this first half.
Great look so far from West Charlotte. I'm liking the initiative from them on the defensive end. I'm curious what they're going to be like on the attacking side too, but anything's got to be better than the way things have been going from these starts of these fights for Garinger after those first 4 rounds. Seems like their confidence has just been sucked out completely. They're going back on the initiative. Jay's taken out quickly but swiftly. Looking really good themselves. Lena, a huge win, but Dead Killer taking down themselves. They got to get rid of this Jet who hasn't died in quite some time. Whew. That's gonna help.
Good news and bad news. Good news and bad news. They have the spike down, but they've just used an orbital strike just to gain some of that control. And to make things worse, Arisu's alone here. They spray down 2. It's a third on the round, swinging for a 4th. And Lena, gone. 4 kills for Arisu, and nobody looks back in their general direction in time. We're tied, 5 apiece.
Was that important?
Arisu with the clutch so many times for their team. This Jet is popping off and being a true duelist for their squad. Doesn't matter where their orbital strikes are coming through because they have the counter UAV on West Charlotte. They're able to just take them down a peg, tie things up. Couple rounds left in this half, and honestly, I would not be surprised if West Charlotte takes both of them.
Hey, I'm really looking at West Charlotte. This could be our closest game of the event, at least on this stream thus far, bar our first game of it. We started 14-12, all the way back on Lotus to kick off this week of play. There's still, of course, 2 more days of playoff bracket action to qualify, plus this, or at least the rest of this game. Arisu, uncharacteristic miss, will somehow survive there.
Wow.
How come when I try that, I die?
Because you're not Arisu, that's what it is. Either way, though, they do finally get taken down, and who else but Lena to take down them and Swiftly, 2 of the top fraggers on the West Charlotte side. 3v3 situation. They don't have the Sage to regain some of the health. Lena taking their sweet time on this rotation. The spike is down in mid, so they got to be careful about that. They know it's going to be being watched by somebody.
Dead Killer hasn't made all that much noise, and they are being watched, but watch out for behind them. They have no idea. They take out their gun worst possible time.
Oh, no.
Dead Killer dispatched of and Ryan Gosling, their 3rd. They took the teleporters, at least one of them did, to get back over here, but this position being watched, the Rays still occupying the spawn spot, and oh, Jay peeks out. This is a perfect timing, but Lena's on for the ace.
Lena looking for it. Might be able to get it. That they do. What a perfect clutch from Lena. Yeah, again, carrying their team to victory. It's the 2nd time we've seen it. But the last time we did see it was in that 4th round.
Garinger again, stopping the bleeding. It required a heroism, a small bit of heroism from Lena. 5 kills on the board. And you gotta say, this is starting to become a little bit of a problem for West Charlotte. Yes, they have good individualistic performances, but we've said this the last 2 days now. Yes, it's good to have them, but it is not good to have to rely on them. Similar case kind of here for Garinger, but they're one away from another showstopper. That would be the 3rd this half. And, more importantly, Lena has been stepping up in a big way. Thrash used, doesn't find anything on B whatsoever, by the way. And
that's gotta
that,
hurt.
my friends, is not how we throw paint shells.
Not at all, but it happens to the best of them. The pressure getting to them, of course, as we are in the last round of the half here. Seeing if it's going to be even Stevens moving forward. Lena taking down Swiftly. Good look from them. Gotta be careful about any potential. I was going to say Ryan Gosling's coming from behind. It's like Shia LaBeouf all over again. Rishi, though, does take down Wizard, and it is a nice finish onto Arisu. 2v2 situation. The Sage is still up. Potentially can help them there, but Ravens with a nice stop onto Jay. It's all onto Ryan Gosling. Does see one, taking their time. And the shot is split between the 2 players. A wise split there to get the finish and take the last 2 rounds of the half.
You know, and until about 2 seconds ago, had not used their resurrection the entire half. They used it at the end of the round in the last round of the half. That is something to keep an eye on in the second half, because defensive resurrections are a little bit more important than those attacking resurrections can be, especially for late retakes, should they become important. But a nice last couple rounds for Garinger. They mitigate any of what could have been potentially harmful damage to them. Yes, they do still lose way too many rounds. They start off 4-0 and they lose 5 of the next 8. But they still end up walking away with a halftime lead, and that's the important part, switching onto this defense.
I'm so curious how this defensive side is going to go for Garinger too. I mean, they looked decent at the beginning, and then it was just a complete runaway for West Charlotte afterwards. And then they were able to take things back under control afterwards. So West Charlotte, all eyes on them for how they initiate onto these sites. Of course, the first few rounds, a lot of it just comes down to dueling more than anything else. But if they can get the spike down consistently, that was an issue Garinger had after that first 4 rounds.
Very long and extended default here. The Jet all the way up on the A site, the Rays pushing mid through B, and Lena has found the opening kill. There's that overzealous Jet. Spike luckily is not down, but Swifty does not have the easiest of ways to get out, and as soon as they do, it's a massive sound cue. This is a lot of noise made by West Charlotte for not a whole lot of control, nor damage, to be honest.
Fortunate on the damage end there. One player down for West Charlotte, but there goes another one. 4v3 situation, and more people are dropping like flies on West Charlotte's end. Garinger, one more player that they have to take down, and they do just that. 3 rounds in a row. Pretty confident for Garinger so far.
Again, a good pistol. 2 for 2 on pistols. This is a Counter-Strike stat, but one that is marginally applicable to Valorant as well. Because of how short the halves are and how important some of the economy can be, albeit a little bit more in Counter-Strike than it is in Valorant. What you can see happen is teams that win both pistols and sometimes both conversion rounds, that being the round after the pistol, can give them a significantly higher advantage to not only win regulation, if that wasn't already abundantly obvious, but take clean and easy wins for the rest of the half. It's 4 free rounds. It gives you an 80% chance to win in regulation at the tier 1 or tier 2 level in Counter-Strike. It's probably about 70 to 75, considering there's utility and many more abilities available to Valorant. But it's still a big driving factor of the game.
We'll have to see if that continues through these rounds here. Taking their time, though, is West Charlotte. They don't want to be overzealous after that last round. Didn't go in their favor whatsoever. Still so many players that were remaining on Garinger. Ryan Gosling, though, you can tell that they're going to be consistent throughout these rounds. Getting that entry frag this time. Dead Killer, though, missing the first. Getting the second, though. See if they can clean things up. They do just that, but Jay finished it off before it can bleed even more so from that 3v3 situation now.
Look, 4 positions on both sides, but it's Arisu who allows the team to disengage from B as he's all the way up on vents to find that opening kill on the A side. And it's Garinger with the disadvantage here. And doesn't seem like they're going to be able to retake all that easily. Lena does have the ability of playing with a Spectre in both of their blast packs. But there's by no means a clear and obvious advantage here. Haunt misses. Lena getting aggressive, needs to clear the close corner. I don't think they're going to. They do. But as soon as they do, Ryan Gosling swings back the other way and it'll cost him.
One player remaining on Garinger now, too. Difficult situation for them as they lose that round. Complete grasp of it, too. And a lot of that had to do with the way that Ryan Gosling was performing.
6 now on the board, and that's the return. That's the cancellation of the conversion round. And sometimes winning the second round after losing the pistol is better than just winning the pistol to start with, because you ruin the economy of your opposing side. And more importantly, you force them into what was an unpredicted scenario. They're expecting to buy there and then win it and have a free round the following. Now, not only did they buy there, but they lost it, and now they don't have the weapons they're looking for. I see multiple marshals, which indicates a little bit of a hesitancy to want to invest, but they still want to try and play for long range. A sheriff as well. This is either going to be a boom or bust round for Garinger.
I feel like this is a must-win for them, too, though. Ryan Gosling just popping off somehow behind them, and Rishi didn't even notice what was happening before it went right past them, swiftly getting the plant down. Arisu also taking out Ravens, one of the top fraggers for Garinger. And so quickly, losing control, but Lena with a 3-piece themselves to turn things around.
And from behind, Ryan Gosling finds one, spray down for a second. 3 for them on the round, and thus far looking much better. Wingman goes the wrong way. They will not be able to try and defuse that spike, so it becomes a little bit more difficult to clutch here. But the benefit is you can really split these 1v1s if you find the timing. The issue is Dead taking a little bit too long in the scenario, has to swing elbow sooner rather than later, or they're going to run out of time.
I think they're going to run out of chances here too, and they're getting shot from behind, somehow not getting finished. The shot almost came through at the perfect moment. And then to be taken down, they went for the defuse, but they should have gone for the finish either way. Time was not on their side, and West Charlotte, they were able to bounce back after we did see Lena pop off so much in the last round. Just wasn't enough for Garinger to get the win.
Look at the kill totals here. This is a 1-round game,
Wow.
and 3 members of Garinger are at single-digit kills. 2 members of West Charlotte have a combined 5 kills. it's a battle of who has the better carry, I suppose. I hope they reinforce their backpacks at Garinger, because this is a little bit of a carry.
We'll have to see if West Charlotte can keep this going for themselves to get the victory in this series. At the end of the day, they've been having some good back and forth battles between them and Garinger. Potential to an OT situation, as we're talking about this being the closest matchup of the day. More rounds than both teams combined that lost in the previous 2 matches, and Ravens already taken down by Ryan Gosling.
Opener, and again, I was talking about this earlier, you cannot have an easy opening to a round if you are losing opening picks, and that's happened way too many times to Garinger for them to be able to afford, and they're giving up the site for very little. It's all of a utility dedication, and Ryan Gosling finds another, just actually spraying from above.
Smoke's out in a perfect position too. Garinger with 2 players down already. Difficult spot to find themselves in here as well, but West Charlotte, I mean, they've had their wits about them on the attacking side. Question was how they were going to perform, and they've been performing spectacularly. Even with Lena getting that 1 piece, they're looking really good. Ryan Gosling, though, no, take it out before they can even use their special, and West Charlotte still able to clean things up at the end to tie things up.
Yeah, it was a 5v3. Could have been much worse than it was, but woulda, coulda, shoulda, it was not. Lena finds a 3-piece, and again, look at the top of both sides. Arisu, 26 and 10, a 2.6 KD for all of you who are not so much of mathematicians. Lena, 27 and 12. That's about a 2.4.5 KD or so, if you really get into semantics. But both top fraggers looking really good. The issue is, Ryan Gosling stepping up as that secondary fragger much better than the rest of Garinger, especially in these later few rounds.
20 kills, 26 for Arisu, looking really good as West Charlotte as best as they can, but Garinger, all eyes are on them to see how they can turn things around on the defensive side. They haven't really been able to do as much as they would like. Lena looking really good with a 2-piece to their name and already evening the odds against the other team. Another one goes down. Lena takes a 3rd, and just 1 player remaining for West Charlotte. That's a great comeback for Garinger.
1v5 for Jay. We've seen some crazy things. I don't think an ace clutch is going to be one of those. Spike plant would be nice. Nice little bit of economy, but they're not even a clear bench. Ooh. All right, I think their gun barrel was just seen, so Rishi's going to walk into the smoke.
Jay's got to back
trail
off.
after them, and their position is duly noted. This is a situation where you pick up that ultimate orb and play for it later, because you are not winning this round, but you also better not give away that Vandal. What? Did they just get stuck on a inclined surface?
I think they did. Exactly,
being
so...
chased.
Oh, they're going to take it down that time too. Garinger with a full 5 members remaining on their squad. That's the best we've seen them play in quite a few rounds.
Garinger, again, having a round where they started off with a very good opening couple picks, and West Charlotte just seemed to collapse. I've had this conversation like 3 or 4 times at this point. It kind of feels repetitive, but it's still extremely important. If Garinger win the opening duel, or have a good early advantage, they are more than favorites to win the round because West Charlotte just hasn't been able to come back. But as soon as Lena dies, it seems like Garinger forget that they're a Valorant team and just exit stage left.
Caution here.
Fortunate for Garinger when those situations happen, but luckily enough for them, they were able to clutch things up in that last round. Looking really good, confident, and Lena is the one to seem to be the player they need to lean on the most, especially when they're popping off, getting a lot of kills, 1, 2, and 3 for the most part. They're looking really strong.
Grenade!
Nade from distance. That one I don't think will extend far enough, so no damage to write home about. But in this scenario, it is most of B controlled by Garinger, but they don't know it. They have nobody there. They've over-invested into A, and it's working. Arisu dies to their counterpart top fragger. And just like that, the 5v3, clear and obvious advantage. Technically a 4v3, because I think the fade's AFK.
Oh no, don't want to see that happen for them, but Garinger taking the most of the opportunities that are given to them. A couple more rounds to go if they keep things up this way. Jay looking for something, going for the plant, but not even paying attention at all to the player who is taking a shot at them. Trades back and forth, but looking good for Garinger here.
Utility available, but that's going to have to be what they rely on. I think a lockdown going to be invested. Yeah, Swifty will use it extremely early in this spike cycle. That's the main concern. This can be legged down, and it seems like that's exactly what's going to happen. Garinger, send Lena for it. 1 picked up already by Swifty. They want to try and go for a second, but I think they've run out of utility. They've already used that Nano Swarm, and the Wingman is sticking the spike. This is the perfect scenario.
Oh my goodness.
You counter out the lockdown by throwing in utility of your own. As Wise Man once said, ironic. as Garinger extend the lead at 2.
Beautiful lead at that as well. Garinger on the comeback in the second half after 3 rounds in a row from West Charlotte. It took them some time to get started after we saw the first 3 rounds taken by West Charlotte in the opening half, but now Garinger looking so much stronger, ready to close out these next 3 rounds if they can do just what they did in those last 2.
It's very close for Garinger, but again, it comes down to those openers. Lena finds a 3-piece there once more, almost finds a 4th, but Swifty ends up winning that fight. And it is just a battle of the top fraggers at this point. And another W key for Ryan Gosling. They're wasting no time. It's the sorry, not Hunter's Fury. The Blade Storm invested early, and everybody just disengages for Garinger. I like this decision. Lima has found a different fight. Good marking of the Hunt, and Ryan Gosling may be caught with his Thrash. Yes, they are. Detained. Caught out in the open. No way to survive here, and very much dead.
Dead, and so go the chances of West Charlotte. 2 players remaining for them. Garinger very confident on this, but Arisu is the one you want to have to take down the rest of the squad. There goes down 1. 3 players remaining for Garinger, and I feel like there's going to be plenty of chances for Arisu to take them. They know, move away from their ultimate instead, rolling it back out, missing the shots, and there goes the chances for West Charlotte.
Now's the time to run the other direction, Swifty. You can't take this fight, and they just barely understand it. The problem is they take way too much damage in the meantime. They'll try and drop some coverage with an Nanoswarm, wait for somebody to walk through it. The wingman does not work, but it will be a spike plant. There's that pop of the Swarm Grenade, but it takes too long, and this is the problem. Heaven occupied, I give them 3 seconds to live as they'll run the other direction, but they will survive a few extra seconds, and the Sage doesn't get the angle. This is a possible, albeit not very plausible, 1v3.
It is very possible. We've seen Swiftly pop off a couple times here too. I feel like the defuse needs to come out from Garinger though. They're going for it, but the shots are coming out onto the wall. The defuse finally happening, and they're sending everyone that they need to towards the Garinger side, but it's not enough. And Garinger, with just 2 more rounds to go, 3 in a row just then, I feel like this is Garinger's game to win.
It seems to be the case. This may very well be the last full buy for West Charlotte as well. And Arisu having to be called on again. Ryan Gosling the same. Last couple rounds, they've just been absent. And Garinger taking full advantage of it. Lena especially, another couple kills that round. Nice help from Dead Killer. And I want to point this out. Dead Killer's 10 and 15, but on 3 separate occasions, they've gotten defuses with the Wingman, virtually locking in rounds that were by no means guaranteed. If they don't throw the Wingman there, you don't have 2 players swinging that. It's a much different fight. Here, you have it, and it basically becomes a 4v3 with your 4th just being a diffuse monster.
That's always fun to see the diffuse monster come out with the Wingman that time. We've seen it happen a couple times. Ryan Gosling, though, curious on how they're going to perform. They haven't been doing as well as we would like to see them in the last few rounds. Arisu finally getting that entry frag, looking for more for where that came from. And Ryan Gosling, good positioning. They have nobody really in their sights to take down. And that's actually going to make it so they can't even see the player to get rid of them.
Orbital strike up. That's free vision. Garinger having to play a little bit more passive, but Dead Killer wins that fight back towards A main. Spike will be planted, but it's a 4v4, and the carry available for Garinger is on the board. Not so much for West Charlotte.
Garinger, good look from them. They're able to take down Ryan Gosling. Lena with a 2-piece themselves. There goes down Jay, and 1 more player remains for West Charlotte. Garinger, you can't really call this a comeback from the end of that last round.
What? They disconnected, and they were stuck in B-mid.
No.
They reconnected in the middle of the diffuse.
Oh, that's gonna hurt.
Oh no. I saw in the chat, I was like, oh, Swifty reconnected. Wait, did they die earlier? And I look up and I'm like, wait, Swifty's Killjoy. Wait, Swifty's in B mid. What the heck's going on?
Crazy positioning. Unfortunately, didn't really work for them. As you mentioned, the disconnect at the wrong time there. Maybe they could have clutched things up a little bit, but it just wasn't enough for them. So Garinger, so many rounds in a row here, 4 total, 1 more for the victory. I feel like they're going to get it, but what can West Charlotte really do to change their fate?
It's just going to come down to those opening gunfights. It's the same conversation we've had for the last 6 or 7 rounds. It is making sure you take down Lena and win your opening gunfights. And already they've lost damage on 2 players because of utility dedicated. And they've lost an opening. Ryan Gosling actually dies to the Molotov from Brimstone that came from Elbow. How in the world that landed is beyond me. And it's just the return to form available here for Garinger is working every day of the week. Jay dispatched him as well. And at 2, make it 1v5. And
1 player left. There is a chance for Wizard, but it's not going to happen then on out. Defenders winning this one, and there's nothing really to worry about for them.
That's a game where you were hoping for a lot more. especially in the earlier stages of that second half, but it just did not look like it was going to be the case. West Charlotte had a much more reasonable shot at it in the later stages of the first half. They went from 4-0 down to a 5-7 finish, which is not bad by any means. But the issue they ran into was not finding consistent nor consecutive rounds, and really only having 1 or 2 players. Ironically enough, they had 2 players that were really carrying the squad, but those 2 players seemed to just exit stage left and forget to return for the last, I don't know, 5, maybe even 6 rounds, and that was the detriment. Nobody else stepped up when they needed to most.
Well, we did see Garinger, all of the players on that squad, step up when they needed to, also making it so that we met basically the time that we were supposed to end tonight anyway. So shout out to them. Yeah. It was a competitive match, could have gone the distance, but Garinger were that much better. So I'm curious to see if they won the match that they were playing before this one. But that's all the time we have for the group stage. Any final thoughts for you, TTL, before we send things away and get ready for the bracket stage starting tomorrow?
I am excited for the bracket stage. I'm really hoping we get told like who the bracket is tonight and or tomorrow morning, because I want to do some
tomorrow morning,
reviewing. Yeah, I want to do some VOD reviewing while I'm in class. I'm looking at a couple of teams, figuring out where the heck they played. By the way, all the live streams from this week, not only the quadcast, but our primary and secondary stream, all on YouTube. You can watch any game of the team of your choice back, whether it's stuck in the top left corner with no casters, or if it has our beautiful faces on it, or the beautiful faces of Captain Atsuka and Zombie Grub. Great group stage. We had a couple games that were kind of washes. We had a few games that were extremely close, and a couple games I really wish were 5v5s.
I know. It'd be so much better if that happened, but we're going to be having such a great time these last few days of competition for the VESL Valorant High School qualifiers. 3 days gone. The groups are finished. We'll be getting along with the bracket stage tomorrow, so make sure you tune in.